How's it going, guys? I'm the Gaming Updater, but you can call me TK, and welcome to my massive console comparison. Now, this is a video I've been wanting to do for ages, and it's taken a long time to put together, so just if you could show your appreciation just by leaving a like, a comment, or a sub, or even all three if you're feeling really friendly, that'd really help me out. But we'll be going through, this is it's not a review by any means, this is simply it's a big comparison of, I've numbed it down to 4 categories, that being hardware, features, software features and extras, as well as the controller, just to give a load of information on all 3 consoles so that you can come up with which one you either want to buy, which one you like the most, or anything like that. It's just a huge informative comparison. And this is, I'm going to go through each console one by one, so there will be annotations around the screen now that you can see, so you can shoot forward to one particular console if you want to, so you don't have to watch the whole video all the way through. But without further means, let's get straight into it. Now, I'm not going to, before I just start on the actual going straight into the consoles, the first topics I will be talking about for each one is hardware. And if you're anything like I was before I did this video, I knew absolutely nothing about hardware. So I've just got some definitions for some key terms that I've written out. Just if you're like me and you're new to hardware, if you want, you can still click those annotations and you can head straight forward into the consoles if you want. But if you don't know much about hardware and you still want to learn, here are some terms that you may want to know as I'm talking about them. First, we have DVR, which just stands for Digital Video Recorder. Then we have CPU, which is the Central Processing Unit. Now, this carries out instructions of a computer program. The performance of a CPU is measured by the clock rate and the instructions per clock, which together make the instructions per second, which is IPS. Next, we have the GPU, which is the Graphics Processing Unit, which manipulates and alters memory to accelerate the creation of images in a frame buffer intended for the output to a display. So pretty much how fast you're going to be able to create images. Next, we have a shader, a computer program that controls the appropriate levels of color to produce special effects / video post-processing. And last of all, cloud storage, a model of data storage where data is stored in logical pools across multiple servers that are typically owned and managed by a hosting company. So they're just some key terms for the hardware. I won't have any of those for the other topics. You'll know what I'm talking about. But just if you're new to hardware, just some things you may want to know. So there we go. Let's get straight into it, and we're going to begin with the Xbox One. So beginning with the Xbox One, as I say, I'm going to talk about the hardware first, and for starters, I'm just going to go straight through my list of information. Now, without sale prices, the Xbox One's going to cost around about $400. It has a Blu-ray / DVD optical drive. It does have a game DVR with Xbox Live subscription, which is going to cost you around about $80, and it has 8GB DDR3 RAM. The CPU is a 1.75 GHz AMD 8-core CPU. And the GPU is a 853 MHz Radeon GPU with 768 shaders. The peak GPU shader throughput is 1.31 teraflops, and the unit has 500 gigabytes of hard drive storage. You can use USB external storage, however the hard drive is not removable, according to IGN. Yes to cloud storage. You can play as you download. You can remote download. Account access for multiple consoles, yes. Mandatory game installs, yes. And 3 USB ports. So the Xbox One does have a good RAM with the Samsung 8GB DDR3 running at entry-level speed for an enthusiast-grade system of 1600 MHz, according to reviewers. A slightly better CPU than the PS4, however, it's not much. It's not big enough a difference to make a big difference at 0.15 GHz. The GPU is not as good as the PS4, running at 0.53 teraflops slower, and the Xbox One RAM is slower. However, the 8GB of RAM is allocated differently in both consoles, so it's a bit confusing there. Microsoft allows up to 5 GB to be allocated to the developers, that is the game that you're running, and 3 GB toward its multi-layered operating system, whereas the PS4 has 4.5 GB to the developers and 3.5 to its operating system. So it's going to have better RAM or a better speed when you're actually playing the games. It's not that much of a difference, only 0.5 of a gigabyte. However, when it comes to the actual console itself running everything, the PS4 does have the extra 0.5 there. So it's really the only difference of how the RAM is allocated differently. So next up we have the Xbox One's features. Now this is just another list that I'm going to go through. Backwards compatibility, no. Cross-game chat, yes. The controller is an Xbox One wireless controller, and it does have motion control with the Kinect 2 if you have that. It does have a second screen, which is a smart glass. However, that is not included. Voice commands are optional. You do need an Xbox Live subscription, and you can live stream. I believe that's through Twitch. Reputation preservation. Achievements will be ported, so you can move your achievements from the 360 to the Xbox One. It does not have Bluetooth, and it does have Wi-Fi Direct. It does have an HDMI input and output, and an optical output. It has an IR out and an IR blaster for the Kinect. The power supply is external, so that's in the power brick. So that's controversial. That I don't really like the power brick. It doesn't really make that much of a difference, I suppose. But for some people, that can be frustrating. How the power supply is not within the console. No near-field communication, and it is not region locked. Next up, we have the software features and extras. So this is probably the shortest of all the categories. TV and web access. Side screens and a fast dashboard means you don't have to wait in load screens or any dashboards again. So basically you can bring up a small side screen on your TV and watch some TV or do some internet searching or anything like that, some YouTubing, just while you're waiting for things to load and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Reputation system keeps annoying players out of your game. So just a way to block players and keep them out of your headset, if you know what I mean. Up to 5 minutes of recording time, and an immediate last 30 seconds of video save with voice control. So you do need the Kinect for the voice control, and that is you can say Xbox record that, and it'll immediately record the last 30 seconds of what you've just played. And yes, live streaming is through Twitch. And last but not least, the Xbox One is designed to be the all-in-one system. So even whilst you're playing games, you can have your TV run through your Xbox One. You can Skype, you have music apps, you can have all these things, your Foxtel and stuff, all running through your Xbox One. So it's the perfect device if you're going to be having this playing in your living room. And you can use all these things whilst you're gaming and whilst you're doing anything else as well, which is really cool. And so the final category for the Xbox One is the controller. Now the controller for the Xbox One is simply named the Xbox One Wireless Controller, pretty inventive. The controller features trigger rumble motors, a plus-shaped D-pad, grip texture around the sticks, a faster response time than the 360, and a micro USB port. It does have IR sensors for Kinect interactivity. Charging can be done via a micro USB cable, however this is not included in the set. Otherwise, AA batteries are used. And a charging kit costs $25 and allows for up to 30 hours battery life after a 4 hours charge. So that's it for the Xbox One. We'll move on next to the PlayStation 4. Alright, the PlayStation 4. So as with the Xbox One, I'm just going to go through each of those topics in the same order. And so we'll begin with the hardware. So the PlayStation 4 is going to cost around about the same at around about $400, depending on where you are and stores and things like that. It has a Blu-ray DVD optical drive. It does have a game DVR, and the subscription is not required. The RAM is an 8GB GDDR5, and the CPU is an 8-core AMD Jaguar processor at 1.6 GHz. The GPU is an AMD Radeon graphics core. Next engine with 1,152 shaders. Peak GPU shader throughput is 1.84 teraflops. The storage is 500 gigabytes with a SATA2 hard drive. No external storage. It does have a removable hard drive, however. It does have cloud storage. You can play as you download. No mandatory game installs. And 2 USB. So the PlayStation 4 does have a faster GDDR5 RAM than the Xbox One. However, the allocation of the 8GB of RAM is different, as I mentioned before. So if you've just come here straight to the PS4 and you haven't wanted to start the video, I'll just have a quick rundown of what that difference is. So in the Xbox One, 5GB of the RAM is allocated to the developers, so the games and apps and things like that. And 3GB is allocated to the operating system, whereas in the PS4, 4.5GB is allocated to developers, and 3.5 is allocated to its operating system. It does have the best GPU, running at 0.53 teraflops more than the Xbox One, as well as 384 more shaders. However, slightly worse CPU, as I mentioned before, than the Xbox One, running at 0.15 gigahertz less. Now, you may notice that I'm just comparing the PS4 and the Xbox One, and that's just because when it comes to hardware, they are much closer a fight. The hardware in the Wii U is a lot different, so I'm not trying to present a big opinion or a PS4, Xbox One fight. It's just that the hardware differences are so dramatic between the Wii U, it's not really worth mentioning because it's such a different console. But anyway, for the next topic, we have the features. So I'll head straight into it. The PS4 has no backwards compatibility. It does have cross-game chat. The controller is a DualShock 4. And it does have motion control within the DualShock 4. The PlayStation Eye, which is not included, as well as the PlayStation Move. Second screen, you can use the PlayStation app or the Vita, however they're not included. The PlayStation app is free though. Voice commands, yes, with the PlayStation Eye, however that's not included. You do need a PlayStation Plus subscription to play online. You can live stream. Trophies will be ported from the PS3, and it does have Bluetooth, Bluetooth 2.1, however no Wi-Fi direct. It has a HDMI output and an optical output, but no IR. The power supply is internal, it has no near-field communication, and is not region locked. So next up, the major software features and extras. First up, we have Remote Play. Play PS4 games on your PS Vita by streaming over to your home Wi-Fi network. Cross-buy, you can download cross-buy games on both your PS4 and Vita with one purchase. The share button, constantly recording the last 15 minutes of gameplay, as well as screenshots. Upload straight to Facebook or YouTube, or even live stream to Twitch. And they now have SharePlay, which is I explain in great detail in my 2.0 update. You can update video. You can go have a look at that. But otherwise, just in short, you can hand over the controller to a friend online on another console, or even share games with friends for up to an hour, completely over the internet with no massive downloads needed. If you want to learn anything more about that, though, I'll leave a link in the description to my 2.0 update video, and you can check it out there. Next up, the last topic, we have the controller, which is for the PS4 named the DualShock 4. This controller features a touchpad, 6-axis motion sensing, a light bar, a speaker, the share button, grips on the toggles and the back of the controller, and is charged using a micro USB cable, and it takes approximately 2 hours to charge and lasts around 7.8 hours. So that's it for the PS4. Let's move over to the final console of this comparison, the last but far from least, Wii U. So the Wii U. Now, the Wii U was a little different to do, just because I going into this console, I knew absolutely nothing about it. I was always concentrating on the Xbox One, the PS4. So it's really what inspired me to do this comparison, because I wanted to learn what it actually did and everything about it. So I went out and did that, and then thought, you know what, while I'm at it, I might as well do all the consoles, and thus this video came out. But anyway, straight into the first topic of the hardware. We'll go back through the list. It's going to cost you around about $350, again, depending on where you are and where you're shopping and stuff. It has a 25GB optical disc drive, no game DVR, a 2GB DDR3 RAM. The CPU is a tri-core PowerPC Espresso CPU. The GPU is an AMD Latte 550 MHz GPU with 320 shaders. They seem to love their coffee over there. The peak GPU shader throughput is 0.352 teraflops. The storage is 8GB or 32GB flash. It does have a USB external storage, no removable hard drive, no cloud storage. You cannot play as you download, no remote download. No account access on multiple consoles, no mandatory game installs, but 4 USB ports. That's a lot of USB ports. So the DDR3 RAM is the same as the Xbox One, however at 2GB instead of 8. It does have the worst GPU at 0.352 teraflops and 320 shaders. It only has an 8 or 32GB of storage, no cloud storage, no game DVR. So, although this might sound bad, that's what I meant when I said that I didn't really talk earlier about the Wii U when it came to the hardware comparisons, because the hardware really does not make the Wii U look too good. However, for the console that it is, it doesn't need all this massive fancy hardware. It has all that it needs, and it does work well enough for what it wants to achieve. So what does it want to achieve? Well, let's have a look at the features and then the software features and extras like the last two consoles. It does have backwards compatibility with the Wii, no cross-game chat. The controller is the Wii U gamepad. You can use the Wii controller and nunchuck, however they are sold separately unless you bought a Wii beforehand. It does use motion control in the Wii U gamepad and the Wii remote, again sold separately. There is a second screen on the Wii U gamepad. There is no voice commands. You do not need a subscription to play online. No live streaming. Not really applicable with the reputation preservation. It does have Bluetooth 4.0. Yes to Wi-Fi Direct for the gamepad and video streaming. It has a HDMI out component and composite out. An IR transceiver for the gamepad. The power supply is external in a power brick like the Xbox One. It does have near-field communication for the gamepad, and it is region-locked. But what about the software features and extras? You have the Miiverse, which is a network communication system that lets gamers from around the world share experiences, discuss games, and discover new content. So for the Mii that you create, you can go onto this almost social networking systems with people on other Wiis, and converse with them about experiences, games, and content, and things like that. There are a huge amount of accessories that you can get for the Wii U, and a lot of them cross over from the Wii, so that's things like the steering wheel for Mario Kart, or the gun that you can use for the remote and nunchuck for hunting games, or even the balance pad, things like that. Just a load of different accessories designed to enhance gameplay. And finally, control of the TV. You can use the gamepad to turn on your TV and search the channels even when the Wii U console is turned off. So that's cool. You can use the gamepad just as a remote control for your TV, much like the Xbox One. And so finally, we have the Wii U's controller, which is the Wii U gamepad, and this is almost the center of attention for the Wii U. It's sort of the major part of the console. So the Wii U gamepad features two analog sticks, a select button, start button, home button, TV button, a D-pad, A, B, X, and Y buttons, L and R on the top, as well as ZL and ZR. So they're almost like your triggers. It does have a rechargeable battery, however that requires a separate outlet and takes 2.5 hours to charge for 3 to 5 hours of gameplay. It has a rumble motor, a gyroscope used for rotation, a magnetometer to recalibrate it on the fly, and an accelerometer. It has a front-facing camera, a microphone, and stereo speakers. The TV button, which allows for control of the TV through the touchpad, as well as the touch screen. So everything sort of revolves around this controller. One person can use the Wii U gamepad, whereas everyone else watches the TV and plays with remotes and nunchucks and things like that. Also, it can be used. The second screen can be used virtually as a second screen, like literally having what you would see on the TV on the little screen. So almost like a handheld device. But that's it for the comparison. Thank you very much for joining me. This video has taken a long time to do and a long time to put together. So please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I will be focusing more on these sorts of videos, stuff like this one and my Battlefield Hardline video, which came out a couple of days ago, my 2.0 update video and things like that. This is what I want this channel to be about. So please stick around if you want to see more, as well as some weekly gaming news updates. But that's it. Thank you very much, guys, for joining me. I hope this video has helped you in choosing your console and things like that. These are just the simple aspects. Go and have a look for yourself with some videos and some demos for things like that. Because videos such as this one really don't help consoles such as the Wii U and some aspects of the Xbox One and PS4. You really go and have to have another look for yourself, but this is just the by-the-book aspects. So I hope you enjoyed, guys. Catch you later. Subscribe for more. And that's it. See you later. TK out.